Hello, and well, happy gaming week, I guess. Christmas has come early for gamers across the globe. It doesn't matter whether you are an Xbox fan, a Nintendo Switch fan, or a PlayStation fan. You are winning, ladies and gentlemen. Lots and lots to get into. Yesterday's state of play. A lot of people walked away giving it a C minus because, and again, the way that I like to look at it is from a double sided coin. From a games show point of view, I thought it was pretty damn good. And of course, for me, game of the show, that Marvel game from Arc System Works looks freaking amazing. The Nintendo Switch, it's out for the love of Joe. And of course, I don't have mine. Devastated, but it's okay. It's been shipped. It wasn't canceled. So I got 3 on the way, ladies and gentlemen. And the kids are going to be happy. And those kids include me because I'll have it when I get back. And I'll be ready to rock and roll. I am bringing my Switch 1. You know, like, it's fine. I have bought a bunch of games for it recently, so I'm going to enjoy it nonetheless. But anyone that got their Switch 2, congratulations. Hopefully, you had no trouble transferring your stuff over. Hopefully, you were able to download Mario Kart World, which was giving some people some trouble. Hopefully, that's not one of you. Fine folks in the chat. And of course, well, the Xbox Game Showcase, folks. This is going to be the final predictions conversation, if you will. I have a great line, 2 conversation point of view to get into. Topic number 1 is going to be predictions, right? Like, I've already given mine. I know Fuzzy's already given his. We'll probably get, Will join us, who's here. Hopefully Umbra will stay awake long enough to join us because obviously he missed Tuesday and he wanted to join us today. Unfortunately, Mav could not get out of work, but Mav will be live tonight at 8 o'clock, so tune in for that show. And it's a big one because it's his first one back in a long time. He took a couple of months off, kind of recharge his batteries. And folks, Mav from Fun Speculation is back. Choo-choo, mother, father, sister, brother. So I'm very excited about that. Will the broke boy Lewis, as he's formerly known? How's everything, kind sir? What's going on? Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me back, Boom. At least this time I'll have a topic I can actually talk about, not like Oblivion last time.
Well, I mean, listen, again, this is an open-ended conversation. It's very opinionated because it's going to be your picks and your thoughts and your theories. The showcase has not happened. There's been no leaks as of today, which is freaking crazy. So my connection did tell me that they're holding this incredibly tight to the vest. And, well, it's Thursday, right? Jeff's show is tomorrow. There's nothing that actually has been leaked, surprisingly enough, from either show. But more specifically, we know that there's a lot of loose lips that sink ships over at Xbox World, and there hasn't been any, Fuzzy Belvedere. Great to have you here. Thanks for joining me on a Thursday. Normally it's me and C Money, but he is on the plane heading over to cover Summer Games Fest, and I'll obviously hook up with him, and we get to hang out and have dinner a couple of nights. I'm very much looking forward to that. But thanks so much for joining us, brother. Welcome back.
Well, thank you for having me. Still kind of recovering from the midnight launch of the Switch 2. Not typically your Nintendo guy. Already kind of frustrated with the button flip. Just muscle memory.
It takes a minute to get used to it, brother. It does.
But other than that, glad to be here. Looking forward to the showcase on Sunday. Hoping you guys have a safe trip out there and have a load of fun. But yeah, let's go into some predictions and stuff. What we hope to see and what we would like to see, kind of thing. So yeah, glad to be here.
So while we await, and again, hopefully Umber does in fact show up, because obviously we didn't get a chance to hear from him. And if not, then obviously he'll be live tonight on his show on The Fix, and him and Daniel will break down their own picks. But of course, we love having Umber on the show, and we love his opinions regarding Xbox. But I want to open up because this is going to be a rather short show, and I was telling Will in the green room, honestly, I did not want to not do a show for you fine folks because obviously it's like syndicated. So on Thursdays, you expect a show at noon. I am running here, there, and everywhere trying to do all the last minute stuff, which is why I packed on Monday. I just have to add the microphone, the headphones here, and a few other things to the suitcase and I'll be done. But ultimately, I probably should not have loaded a show today because I could have went and got the Switch. And listen, I'm here. I'm happy to be here. That's why, but again, it's going to run about 60 minutes, maybe 70. Again, we have a smaller panel. I did try to get a few other people, but most people were traveling. Most of the people that I do podcasts with will be in LA either later today or early tomorrow. So again, let's open up with the I think this is a strong conversational piece, and I really want to get the chat involved. And I do want to offer an apology to the chat because yesterday a lot of you guys and gals had some really good picks, and the show kind of got away from me, and I didn't read everyone's pick. So if you do have a pick that I did not read yesterday and you want to throw it into the chat, I will make sure that we at least make acknowledgement of it, and we'll read it aloud. But Will, because you're our special guest, this is the topic one that I want to pose, or the question for topic one that I want to pose to you, and it's very simple. It's very simple. Will Team Xbox deliver? That's one half of the question. Okay, your picks could be in there anywhere you want. Again, it's an open-ended conversation. But the second part of this conversation is, can a strong first-party showing kind of remove the stigma of Xbox going third-party? Like, will Xbox gamers walk away from this show not only and potentially blown away, but unfazed and unbothered by a lot of these games getting Switch 2 and PS5 logos? Now, that's a rumor that has not been confirmed, but Phil Spencer himself said that they were not going to, moving forward, they weren't going to be playing games with people on what was going where. There was going to be a logo at the end of the trailer of where the game was going to go. Now, again, that has not been confirmed, but he did say that at the beginning of the year. This is their big showcase. I'm expecting it. I mean, again, I'm at a point in my gamer's life that I don't care anymore. I think that third party is fine as long as there's not games going to PlayStation that are not coming here from Xbox. Then that is let's riot kind of a situation. But take the ball and run with it, Will.
Well, thanks, Boom. Like I said, I can actually talk about this one, not like Oblivion like we did last time. What I'm hoping to see for the initial announcement, since you guys did your opening and closing last time, so I want to see the first trailer for the show fades black, Xbox Studios, and then the Rare logo pops up. So we get Everwild with a surprise actual release date by the end of the year. And of course, we'll see COD. We'll see the usuals there. Do you want me to go over my dream and wish we went over Wednesday that you loved? Muted, Boom.
Your mic.
You're
muted.
I'm muted. Look
yeah.
at that. Mother, father, sister, brother. What I was saying is that take it away, brother. You know, again, this is an open-ended conversation. Have fun with it. Even if the choice is out of this world wacky, that's what we're here to do. We're here to hang out and have fun.
Yeah, because the out of this world wacky I mentioned Wednesday would be the announcement from Xbox or just anyone really, even Friday night, saying someone has purchased Monolith Studios and they are going to relaunch Fear and the Middle Earth games.
Oh, dude, those are great picks, brother. Great picks.
That's a wish list that won't happen, but and what I'm thinking we'll probably see too, since yesterday we've got the trailer for Silent Hill F and the release date. The exclusivity window for Silent Hill 2 ends in October for Xbox, so maybe we'll see an announcement for that one as well.
I mean, that's definitely possible. That at least that is the running rumor. They did have an exclusivity deal, and that's not surprising. That's what Sony does. But I don't think it was an indefinite one, and I certainly don't think it was more than a year.
No, the launch trailer last year said coming to PlayStation and Steam, and then
Uh-oh. Yeah, he froze.
Oh no.
All right. Well, he's had an issue. All right. Well, listen, these things happen, folks. Will be back momentarily. Fuzzy, I'm gonna hand the microphone. Oh no, wait, hold on. There he is.
He's back.
You're back, Will.
Technical difficulties.
All right, not a problem. But so finish your point.
See if I can remember what it was.
Well, you said something to the effect about the trailer for Silent
yeah,
Hill.
Yeah, the trailer for Silent Hill 2 said coming to coming to PlayStation and Steam, and then it said coming to other platforms in October 2025. The only other platforms are Nintendo Switch 2 or Switch and Xbox. So
right.
Whether there's always a possibility they could have extended the deal, I guess.
Well, I mean, listen, if I bought it on PS5, I will buy it on Xbox.
I've got it on Steam. I've got it on Steam.
Probably got it for cheaper anyway. But so I want to ask you this before we hand the microphone over to Fuzzy Belvedere. I do want to ask your thoughts and your theories regarding the conundrum that is the third party ideology that is moving forward in a big way. This show is expected, and again, this is a rumor, folks, to be bigger than last year's. And as someone that was there, I find that hard to actually equate because they had so many bangers last year. What is being suggested is that they have even more. And even though we know a lot of the games that are releasing for the remainder of 25 and a good portion of games coming in 2026. Again, this is what's great about having this 30 studio roadmap, because they could come out with a trailer, and even if the game was slated, like for instance, Fable was slated this year, they just wanted more time. Okay, not a problem. We'll figure it out. That's where you get a Clockwork Revolution. That's where you get a Forza Horizon 6 possibly, where they just say, okay, Team A, take your time. Team B, step in. My question to you is very simple. Do you think a solid first-party showing, as big as it was last year, could calm the fears and anxiety of the Xbox community that is still a bit bent out of shape about them going third-party? Because I think a lot of people will have walked away with, hey, this is just how it is, acceptance. That's how I am. Did I feel differently 18 months ago? Of course I did. We all did. But again, we keep winning with Game Pass. For some, that's not enough. For me, it is. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm one of those, like I said, I like games. So wherever they're at, if I want to play them, I'm going to. There's always going to be the diehard fans, and that may not be the right term to use, that are strictly Xbox, hate everything else, and says if it goes somewhere else, I'm done. There's always going to be some of those out there. But I'm on the thing is, like I said, I think we'll see some majority of games, especially ones that are previous franchises like COD, of course, will all still have the PlayStation logo and be going there. There will be some, I'm thinking, maybe like Clockwork Revolution, if they do something with Contraband again, those might have a timed exclusivity window. I'm on the fact that a strong first-party showing is going to be good for Xbox, just because they're showing, hey, we got games coming, and for the last several years up until 2023, it was always, hey, they're coming, don't worry. And then, well, now they actually are.
Yep. That's great. It's a great point. There's great points around. I just think that they're
first party show, good first party showing. Yeah, the Xbox guys will do it. Like you guys have said before, the real exclusive right now for Xbox is Game Pass.
I agree, and I think that really does. People forget that. Look, Will, I'll say this to just jump in here. If you are a diehard Xbox fan, and anyone that is a longtime fan of the platform will say, and I've said it myself, my God, we have waited so long for Xbox to deliver on first party, but not just first party multiplayer, like really pedal to the metal on single player, story driven, adult themed conversation and graphics. And they're finally there. You had a lot of games released this year that have taken the world by storm, And of course, you have a lot of games that are coming out that are going to have adult themes. They're going to have that, like Cognito always used to say, the hashtag just one type of graphics, which is what you usually get with a Sony game, like whether that be Horizon, whether that be The Last of Us, whether that be God of War. Those types of games with those types of graphics are going to be released in an abundance. And there are a lot of Xbox fans that were like, man, we've actually been waiting a long time to be able to be like, hey, we got the games. And they kind of feel that they don't have that anymore. And I just think that that even though that some people still feel the type of way they left the brand or they've gone to PC because they were unhappy with the way that the direction that they were moving, I really do think that there is something to be said about having games in Xbox Game Pass in a massive amount. And again, it's not just from Xbox, it is their partnered games. And a perfect example of that is Expedition 33. This is the game that came out that probably would have done okay, but because it was in Game Pass, it had all that, and I hate using the word free, but all the conversation through Game Pass gave it this marketing push. And that's the whole point of it. So again, if you are someone that is disappointed with the chance, with the that you don't have the ability to kind of point and laugh, I get it. But I just think that if you're like Will and you just want to play games, if this showcase is what I think it's going to be back to back to back years of incredible showcases going back to 2023. And I don't know how as an Xbox fan you can't be excited for that, but that's just me. So we'll get Will back in here. Will, you keep having technical difficulty there, brother.
Yeah, I know.
That's all right. It's fine.
You target just a side note. You mentioned Expedition 33.
Yeah.
Remember, I've told you in the past that I'm not a big RPG fan because the games take too long, and I was at 20 some hours in Avowed, and that was my longest ever.
Yep.
I just hit 40 hours in Expedition 33.
Well, there you go. There you go.
On the final boss in Act 3.
Oh, there you go, man. I you know what? I'm not even gonna tell you where I am. I'm embarrassed. Division has my soul, and Call of Duty, the new season. It's just
apologies for the connection. Like I say, I haven't been testing stuff in a while,
brother. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We'll have you back in for the second topic momentarily. But Fuzzy Belvedere, I want to pose the same question to you because, again, obviously you might have a pick or two that you did not talk about the last time. So, of course, we want to get that. And then we're going to read some people in the chat. We're going to go back a couple of minutes and see what people said. So if you have any thoughts and theories, chat, throw your picks in there because I'm going to read them aloud as soon as Fuzzy Belvedere is done. But I do want to bring up the point of the conversation regarding your thoughts on, more specifically, will Team Xbox deliver? I mean, and again, I think it's an easy answer, but maybe not for you. And more importantly, can a strong first-party showing for the third year in a row really calm the Xbox audience that's frustrated with the direction of where Xbox is going, putting their games everywhere?
It's, from my standpoint, I think they can deliver. Absolutely. They have enough studios and enough stuff that we know that's in development that they should be able to deliver without any problem. As far as for the Xbox fans that, are not on board with the direction that they're headed, I totally understand it. I don't know if they'll ever be rectified per se, but I do think it will keep them busy enough. Because it's hard to complain about a platform when you have umpteen games that you're interested in and maybe some that you were on the fence for constantly coming into your service, or games that weren't originally destined for your platform now coming to your platform. And sure, some people will say, well, the Personas and the Yakuzas aren't really, fitting for the Xbox platform, but we've actually shown how well they've done on the platform, so much so that Sega is now doubling down on that partnership. So I do think there will be enough to kind of calm the nerve per se. I think the next iteration of hardware, whether it's the ROG Ally partnered Xbox handheld or the under the TV console that's pretty much a PC in disguise, I think at that point that might help calm some things. I think having broader access to something like a Steam library, which will give you access to a lot of the indie titles that don't quite make the early access or make it over to Xbox in general, I think that will help matters. The times are different. I mean, yes, consoles with exclusives are still selling. The Switch 2 is still selling. The PlayStation 5 is still selling well. Even the Xbox is selling well, even without its exclusives, although it's not in the numbers that we would probably want to beat our chests over in comparison. Right. But if you're a gamer that has multiple platforms in your household or multiple devices, in particular like PC or tablet or something of that nature, or maybe you've already purchased one of the other PC handhelds, whether it be the actual Steam Deck or the Legion Go or the MSI Claw, you now have a lot more freedom than what Xbox may deliver directly themselves in hardware standpoint, and still, continue your gamer score, still continue your friends list, still, be able to have party chat and things like that while you're gaming or just, watching videos or whatever. You still have a lot of those things that brought people together on the platform still in your ecosystem. I guess the only drawback is, well, now you got PlayStation players playing some of those games. And what I would say is take that energy and beat them at that game in multiplayer for the most part. That would be the new thing to direct a lot of that, I guess you could say fandom in comparison. But I do think they're going to have a awesome show as far as delivering probably 14 titles plus as far as with maybe release dates or release windows. I think we're going to see at least 3 or 4 in-house or first-party studio titles that we weren't expecting. I mean, what is it? Elsewhere, I think, is the Activision new studio.
Elseworlds, right? Or is it Elsewhere?
I think it's Elsewhere, I think.
Yeah.
But Activision's new studio. Blizzard is still cooking on something, even though, yes, I know Odyssey got canceled. They still have, was it StarCraft that they're kind of putting a team together for? So we might hear some more info on that. Or we might hear that, StarCraft Ghost might be an actual thing that they work on, making this third-person perspective shooter kind of deal. I think that might be hopefully a pleasant surprise that kind of catches it off guard. And after watching the state of play, it's kind of funny because Maximilian Dude and a few others had talked about, well, maybe Killer Instinct needs to partner with Arc Systems as far as that same studio that's doing the Marvel game for PlayStation. Maybe we do get an update on Killer Instinct 2. I mean, yes, I know PlayStation runs Evo now, but having Killer Instinct in that mix as well and having an updated one with updated, Xbox-owned IP characters in it, whether it's ones from Bleeding Edge, which I know, Bleeding Edge may not have made its mark in the industry as far as an arena shooter or melee arena game type of deal, but you still now have all of the Bethesda IP characters and a lot of the Activision characters you can mix in there and have a full, roster of fighters for something like Killer Instinct 2. And if it goes multi-plat, I mean, it's been on, Nintendo, which now the Switch 2 being out there, it makes perfect sense to have your own in-house fighter with all of your IP, maybe a few special guest characters from other platforms as well. And that makes an appearance at the showcase. So I'm kind of hoping we get kind of like a surprise or some sort of update on what a Killer Instinct 2 looks like. Yeah, it may not be Arc System Works working on it, but I still think the perfect deal would be to have NetherRealm, partner up. Maybe it's a NetherRealm and Killer Instinct crossover, with Mortal Kombat or something to that effect. But still think Persona 6 is going to make a big splash. But there's a lot of other Sega games that they've partnered in with that Super Game initiative, where it's a lot of their older titles being reimagined, like Golden Axe, and I think Outrun was included in that as well. I'm hoping to see some of the fruits of the labor of that. Like Crazy Taxi definitely needs to make a return. Golden Axe, I want to see what that looks like in the modern era.
Dude, I saw some screens of that, and I hope they were real. Wow, does that look insane?
Yeah, and we got that Shinobi title coming, I think, later this year. That anime
Yes.
style one. So there's going to be a lot of fun stuff that we see at the Xbox showcase. There's going to be some other Xbox related things that make an appearance on the Summer Games Fest stuff with Keeley. I know, yeah, not the biggest fan of Keeley either, but games are games, and if Xbox has that many games to the point where they have to kind of spread them out amongst other showcases, so we don't have like a 3-hour showcase, which that would be great, but I don't think anybody would want to sit through 3 hours straight of well, maybe some people would probably want to sit through 3 hours straight of game after game after game, but I think spreading the word out amongst these other showcases as well keeps the brand in people's conversations, whether they're on Nintendo or whether they're on PlayStation. Which, yeah, it's going to feel weird seeing those logos, but at this point, as long as I know these games are coming day one to Game Pass or at least coming to the platform to purchase, that's all I really care about at this point. But yeah, I don't think they have. I don't think they're going to be far off from outdoing 23 or 24.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some big surprises, and maybe all of those Call of Duties finally come into Game Pass. I mean, they're kind of trickling in as we speak now, so we'll see.
You know what's interesting when you say you talk, specifically, I want to just kind of add some context to that, because Argeet seems to think, and he might actually be onto something, gentlemen and chat, that the reason why we didn't get all of these Call of Duties, all of the Activision games that we're all waiting, the Spider-Man and the Transformers and the Marvel Ultimate Alliance and Deadpool and potentially even, the Wolverine game, which, by the way, if you never played, oh my God, I hope that gets in there. And again, I don't know if it's a licensing thing. I don't think that PlayStation has some sort of exclusivity deal with Marvel, because obviously then Blade would not be a thing. But I don't know, where that pans to when it comes to Spider-Man and more specifically Wolverine. But these games just need to be given the okay by Marvel, because they were everywhere. And if they're backwards compatible because now Microsoft owns them, they'll be dropped into Xbox Game Pass. And he seems to think that the FTC situation was the big holdup. And well, obviously that's water under the bridge, right? That's a done deal in every in every facet. So the FTC lost. Microsoft won. They officially own all of these IPs. They officially own Activision Blizzard King. And I think that I know that it may not be, quote unquote, the biggest announcement, chat, for you per se, as what you want, because everybody wants new, and I totally understand that. But I do think that an announcement at the showcase, because again, I think it should come from Sarah Bond. If I'm going to pitch the story, folks, this is how I would do it. She's the president of Xbox. We haven't seen Sarah in public speaking facing forward in a minute. And I don't know why that is. And I would imagine it's because her and her team is hard at work bringing us the next Xbox, and more specifically, what she said in the beginning of the year, and that was preservation for gaming. Past, present, and future. Super important. She's the president of Xbox. She should be the one delivering this. And it would be a pretty, again, you got to remember, just go back and watch the announcement. Again, folks, I'm a nerd, so I'm getting goosebumps. I know people make fun of me for that. But I just remember when Phil Spencer was on stage and he announced that all of the Xbox 360, well, most of the Xbox 360 catalog would be backwards compatible. And the crowd went bananas. And, again, this is what they're leading the charge, ladies and gentlemen, in what game preservation is. Nintendo does it in not a great way. Yeah, they preserve the game, but they charge you for it. PlayStation charges you for it. Xbox just says, hey, you have the service, go. And each one of these games supposedly will get the HDR boost. Something like Prototype, that is old. It's an old game, but it could look really freaking good if it had the HDR boost as well as the FPS boost, right? And that's free. You don't pay anything for that. So I actually kind of think that you're onto something, Fuzzy. I think that would be a mammoth-sized announcement at a showcase that is going to be telling us about what new games. I think old games or older titles, especially titles that are 10 years old, 2 generations ago, Who doesn't want to have those games, backwards compatible? I definitely think you're onto something with that. I like all the picks from everybody so far. For me, I mean, look, I've said this, and anyone can just go back and watch the tapes, folks. Would I have originally signed off on something like this to see Xbox games like Forza, Halo, and Gears on PlayStation? I would have never signed off on that. I've said it before. I would have done the Peter Moore way of doing things, and that is, if you want to play these games, you're going to buy our console, or you're not playing the games. But that's not business in 2025. Now, Nintendo gets away with it because it's Nintendo, and even Sony continues to do their own thing. So there are some people that do push back and be like, well, wait a second, Boom, exclusives sell because they're not putting games everywhere. See, here's the thing. Xbox has always, their Achilles heel, ladies and gentlemen, and I think the chat will agree as well as the panel, is that for a good portion of the decisions that they make, they're always first. And sometimes they're fast with it, right? And when they do it first and they're out in front, what happens? People break out the torches and the pitchforks and the arrows, and they get them. And then 3 or 4 or 5 years later, something will happen. Sony will do the same thing. And it's, oh my God, Sony, you're the savior of the universe. Thank you, Sony. Thank you, Nintendo. And again, it's Microsoft and Xbox's Achilles heel. The situation about games going everywhere, because I keep seeing it. Like, oh, it's not fair. Boom. When is Xbox going to get some games from PlayStation? Look, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Do I think it's going to happen sooner than later? I do. I think the money people are in charge. I think that all the money that they lost, and we're talking of hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars that they have lost with games like Concord, games like Fair Games, which I think is going to be ultimately canceled. And I'm sorry to say, folks, if you have any confidence in what Bungie's doing with Marathon, then it's misplaced, because that studio is in some trouble right now. They're in a pickle. They have been accused of art theft that has not been worked out. There's been 3 or 4 artists that have come forward and said, yep, they were supposed to work with me. They never got back to me. I'm still waiting to be paid. Then you have all the craziness at the studio. This game, they don't know what it is. It's an extraction shooter. It's mid. People are playing other things. So you got to remember, they're going to have to figure out how to make all this money back. And it ain't going to be on console sales only. They got to sell software. And maybe you PlayStation fans are just not enough, right? So we will see. I do think that this show is going to be bombastic. I think it's going to be the best of the 3. I think it continues to get better. I think Tina Amini and her team have a lot to work with when it comes to first party. I think that because they have over 30 studios, there is no shortage in games and games that are currently being made. And when a game gets done, like Avowed, it's done, it's out. They say, okay, now we have a future. Hey, this is what we're going to do for the remainder of the year. I think that they're probably already working on a sequel. If not a sequel, then an expansion for sure. Maybe it's a paid for expansion. But once games get done, they move on to the next project, and whatever that may be, whether it be a sequel or it be something new. Again, Hellblade 2 came out. It is going to launch on PlayStation, probably going to launch on Switch at some point. And they are working on Project Mara, which we could very well see at this showcase of what that game is going to be. So I really think that this show is going to kill. I think it's going to be the best of the 3, and I think that the quality of these shows will continue. That bar will be continued to be raised. And again, that's just my take on it. So I'm very excited for Sunday. I'll be watching with the community at the FanFest event that is being steamrolled by Ben Kenobi of Twitter, who makes all the coins. He's an incredible artist. Hargeet Chani, who's been pushing the envelope on getting the show off the ground. And, of course, Ains from Season Gaming. And I'm going to be ass in seat watching this with them. And I honestly, I can't wait. But, gentlemen, let me catch up on Super Chats. I'll read some of the chats, if you will, on what you guys and gals are saying. So, again, if you haven't already thrown it in there, let me get your picks, ladies and gentlemen, so I can read them aloud. Now, we have Jacob Novick, who's been a channel member for 10 months. So, Jacob, salute to you, kind sir. Thank you so much for the support. He says, hi, all. Thought I'll get my Switch 2 Monday since it's our next mail delivery company delivering date, but got it today. Redeemed my Mario Kart code. Good for you, brother. Congratulations. My stuff, unfortunately, I was telling Will, maybe it's me being half serious and the other half a little disappointed. When I ordered these things, there were no options to pick up, right? And again, I was in a Discord. Yes, this old man actually was in a Discord with like 20 people, and I stayed up to 2:00 in the morning to get these 3 consoles. And again, they're not obviously all for me. I'm not selling on eBay. I got 2 for the kids and 1 for the other kid, which is me. And and there you go. Will got his as well. I don't think I would have had the time to enjoy it. It's going to be delivered over the weekend. Mrs. Boom is going to collect all of them, and then of course I'll be like Santa Claus and deliver them when I get back from LA on Monday. Am I partially disappointed that I'm not traveling with the Switch 2? Yes, of course I am. I'm a gamer. I don't have the console the day it came out, but it has been a whirlwind of a week. And yes, I packed early, but I still got stuff to do. And of course, there's the stress of getting to LA, getting everything settled. I do want to do a couple of live shows, but I don't know when those live shows are going to be. So obviously, keep up to date with me through social media, and I'll let everybody know. I'm going to do at least 2 shows. One is going to be, and I'm trying to figure out how I could be jet lagged, get my stuff, get me in a case to the hotel, set up my stuff, react to Keely's event, because again, this is a work event, folks. Again, I'm going there to have fun, but I gotta work. I gotta have the content ready for you guys and gals, and I will. So at some point Friday, before I get to dinner, I'll be doing a show, even if it's an hour. I don't care if it's by myself, or we'll get people to just randomly hop in if you want. And of course, I'm then going to hang out with a bunch of the community at IGN Live. I'm very excited for that because IGN Live last year was really cool. It was like an old school E3 environment. I very much enjoyed that. And of course, I will be hanging out with the community, answering a bunch of questions, reacting live at the Fan Fest event. And then, of course, retreating to get ready to fly home that night. And then I will be doing, at some point, I got to eat. Got to remember to do that. And then I have to figure out how I can get an hour worth of podcasting in before I fly out back to New York so we can talk about what happened. And of course, then that Monday, me and Fuzzy Belvedere will be back here at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to do what we do. But thank you, Jacob, for the support. He also drops not 1, but 2 additional super chats. The first one of $5. He says, Persona 6, maybe. I think that's a possibility, bro. Final Fantasy 7 remake, and that kind of teased Final Fantasy 9 remake. Wukong, I bet, a new licensed game from Disney, and I'm not talking about the rumored indie sequel. I mean, those are really strong picks, dude. I like the Persona one. I think that's definitely a possibility. I think the Persona 4 remake that has been rumored for quite a while could potentially be in front on the back end of that Persona 6 reveal. Some people in the chat think that Final Fantasy 7, 16, and 7 will be at the Keeley event. I mean, that's definitely a possibility, but I think that it's a good chance that could show up at the Xbox event. And I think, and again, this is just me spitballing, Jacob, that it could be 2 games that get their way into Game Pass. Like, I think that would be really big. We've been waiting for this game or these games for a while. It'd be nice to have them in Xbox Game Pass. And if not, I'm gonna buy at least 7. I don't know so much about 16, but his second $10 super chat. He says, my NR1 wish, one more thing. A rare dev walks up on stage with a black background. We are pleased to announce that we are co-developing in very early pre-production a new Banjo game. Yeah, dude, that's amazing. I love that pick because I'm a Banjo bro. I have it on absolute confirmation from Phil Spencer himself. Again, in 2019, I was very incredibly privileged to be able to sit down and have dinner with Phil. It wasn't just me, like, he came over to the house or anything. I was with a bunch of other content creators. This was a secret meeting. Obviously, everyone found out about it, and I talked about it before. But I did get a chance to have dinner with Phil, and it was awesome. He was exactly he is what you thought he was. He was in jeans and a t-shirt, and he was just hanging out, and everyone was just asking him questions, and he took time to take pictures. And when I had a chance to talk with him, and he's very smart dude. He does his homework. He knew I was a retired police officer, and we kind of talked about that, my kind of experience with that. And then I asked him straight out. I could have asked Phil any freaking question in the world. And what did this nerd go with? Banjo-Kazooie. And all he did, he smiled. The minute I said it, he just smiled. And he says, Rare doesn't want to do it. And he goes, I don't force anyone to work on games that they don't feel passionate about, because then the games just come out right. And that's literally what he said, word for word. I'm not paraphrasing. That's what he said. So as great as that would be, and I would love your story was great, because maybe they would do a dual development, maybe Rare and Toys for Bob, that would team up. That would be dope. But Rare doesn't want to do it. Rare does not like returning to their old IPs. They want to do new stuff. And I mean, listen, it is what it is. But again, thanks to Ecstasies, he did put out a rumor where there's going to be 2 games from Toys for Bob and 2 games from Tim Schafer's studio that are not only going to be announced at this event, but they're going to be announced to be in Game Pass, of course, and launch on PlayStation day and date, the same thing. Could Banjo-Kazooie find a home on PlayStation? I guess. I don't see it personally, but listen, they're going the multi-plat thing. What am I going to do? As long as I get Banjo-Kazooie, I don't give an F. But Tim the Sorcerer drops a very generous $2 super chat, and thank you so much for the very kind words. He says, "Hey Boom, have an amazing trip and time in Los Angeles," and I certainly will. Thank you for the very kind words, Tim. I always get super nervous before I fly. I don't know why, but I think it's the anxiety of getting there and being able to deliver the content that you guys know and expect, and then still being able to have a good time as well as work. So it's a lot, which is why I'm actually surprised I did a show today. But well, here we are. Why So Serious drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, Game Pass is king, like B Money who? I mean, look, Game Pass, I get frustrated when I see people not really appreciating what they get from it. And I'm talking about the troll community. I'm not talking about the Xbox gamers. Gaming is so expensive right now, and everything is just so high priced. And I'm not going to get into the eggs and cream cheese conversation so someone can make fun of me. But these are the sad realities, right? Like, gaming is super expensive. And if you have kids, and Fuzzy Belvedere could tell you, not every kid is going to enjoy what you enjoy. They're going to have their own games that they're going to want to play that you may not like. So if that happens, and it has happened to Fuzzy, he's buying a game for him. He's buying a game for the missus. He's buying a game for this son, for this son. This shit gets expensive, ladies and gentlemen. Right? So Game Pass, I think that when people try to poo-poo it as it not being an important part of where we are in gaming, you're full of S. You just really are. And I'm glad that it exists. And I've said this always. I really wish that Sony and Nintendo adopt something similar where there was, because again, if I didn't have to buy all these games and they were in a service, some games I would buy, sure, but I would just pay for the service. And maybe that's where gaming goes. Who knows? But gentlemen, gonna get into topic number 2. This one, again, it's an open-ended conversation. And you know what? Actually, before I do that, let me go right back to the chat over here and see what everyone is saying. Big B Money. Yes, Dirt Griggity show is going to be live tonight at 6. And if you miss it, shame on you. I love Dirt. Dirt is, man, that is a guy that crushes ponies on a regular basis. That's right. I said it. I said the P word, but it's only because for context. Him and Sean and the rest of the crew, they do such a great job, and they have fun with it. Again, I gotta say this: I would not have this segment, but I told Dirt when I speak to him personally, because we talk on a regular basis, that my favorite segment that he has is the POS of the week. It makes me laugh every single time. I just it's so much fun. But let's see. Chat, where are you guys and gals? What do you want to see? It's let's see. We have here somebody said Steam on Xbox. That's happening. But that's not happening at this showcase. Let's see what the chat is saying over here. Oh, this is great. Dark Tribe actually brings up a phenomenal point, and Fuzzy Belvedere would love this. I think everyone would love this who has kids. The Game Pass family plan. That would be huge. That is fantastic. I love the pick. Let's see.
Got a question, Boom.
Yeah, sure, go ahead, brother.
Do you think they'll give an update on the partner device with Asus during the show?
That's a great question.
Or the new S working on update for it as well.
Well, you know what? There was a story. I don't remember where I pulled it from and who wrote it. I didn't even get a chance to read it. Literally, it's like a whirlwind the last couple of days. But there was a story that we are expecting some new information on it. I originally thought that the Xbox showcase would be a good spot for this thing. It's but the problem with it is it's not the Xbox handheld. It's the partnered ROG Ally one. I think if it's going to show up anywhere, it could be Keeley's event, right? That's a possibility. Which, get ready, because he's going to dump on it. He's going to be like, oh yeah, look, the device. Let's move on. PlayStation, right? That's what he's going to do. It's just who he is. It's fine. Or there are two other places that it could show up at. The PC game show, which makes sense, right? It's a PC handheld. Or the future game show showcase. So it certainly could show up at Xbox. I just don't think it's going to, unless there is a section where they're going to incorporate this device, its release date, its pre-order date, followed by what could be the unveiling of the Xbox Elite V3. Like if they take, 10 minutes to show off hardware, like a block, 5 minutes of each. Hey, this is what the new handheld or handhelds look like. Supposedly there's two. There's a bigger version and a little brother version of the ROG Ally Xbox thingamajig. And of course, we're all waiting for information on the Elite 3. So if they do incorporate one of those, I think the other one has a chance to be there, whether it be the Elite and then the ROG Ally, or the ROG Ally and then the Elite. That's a great pick.
I would have kind of one argument. I know people want to see the Elite 3. Like I said, I do too. But damn, you just released a Witcher 3 Elite controller and you just released a Doom Elite controller. If you're going to do that, why now?
I mean, you're not wrong. And that Witcher 3 Elite controller is selling for $300+ on eBay. So if you got your hands on one, folks, go sell it, because you're gonna make money.
I'll put it next to my Concord controller.
Right. The Concord, that's probably gonna be worth money at some point. Not now.
It's about 300. It's about 300 on eBay, I think, right now too.
Well, there you go. So Lad in the chat says State of Decay 3. Yeah, you know what? I that's gonna be there in a big way. That's gonna have a big showing, just based on the fact that you just had Undead Labs put out that tease and some like video of what I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you. But that's a really good one. Xboxer Mike, what's up, brother? Nice to see you here. Z Black Rider, what do you have to say? But first of all, brother, nice to see you here. Hey, 3-Bit's in there. 3-Bit, welcome back, bro. So Z Black Rider says he's very excited for State of Decay 3. I think a lot of people are. I am as well. I mean, again, if they don't answer my gamer prayers and give me a single player story-driven narrative mode, I'm still going to play it, and I'm probably going to enjoy the H out of it. Let's see. What else we got here? Stage on X brings up something. Fuzzy, you brought this up more times than I could remember how to count. I think it's time. The Wu-Tang game, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, for crying out loud, what the H? Can we at least get a trailer? Can we find out what's going on? Because, I mean, look, we've only heard rumblings of what this game is, right? We don't know. It's not going to be like, and I really wish it was like a Def Jam Vendetta. Remember that? Oh my God, that was so good. But it sounds like the original rumor that it was going to be a side-scrolling beat 'em up anime looking, hand animation drawn type of thing. It sounds so freaking good. And if you give us a Wu-Tang Clan soundtrack, wow, that is, oh my, yeah, yes, please. We need that in our lives. And that would be dope. Let's see. So Treybone 408 _ Treybone, great to see you here, brother. He says Recore 2, which Recore 1 was dope. It just needed more time and a bit of more money. I would love to see a 2. I don't think we'll ever get it, but he does mention Killer Instinct 2. He says something 99 Nights related, an Xbox IP fighter or shooter. Killer Instinct. Now, it's funny. We made mention earlier, and I actually have it in front of me. I don't remember which of the panel members said it regarding Arc System Works, and what they did with the Marvel game. This is a rumor that I totally forgot about, and I just it dawned on me. I said, you know what? Let me try. I'm like a lunatic. There was a rumor, Maximilian Dude, who is the biggest fighting guy in the world. I mean, he's the one that brought back the hashtag Bring Back KI. He was talking a couple of years ago about Arc System Works rumored to be working on a new Killer Instinct. I actually have it in front of me. This is what it says. While there's no official confirmation, rumors and speculation suggested Arc System Works might be considering a new Killer Instinct game. Obviously, they're a well-known developer for fighting games known like Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue. I mean, it doesn't say much. There's no official announcement, but I mean, why couldn't Arc System Works work on 2 games at once, right? Like, so again, it was a rumor, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I don't know if the studio that did seasons 2 and 3 are gonna work on it, but I just think that it's about time, man. I mean, every fighting game franchise has come back in one way or another. I mean, for crying out loud, you just had Terry Bogard show up in a big way with Fatal Fury, right? Fatal Fury just came back. I bought it. You had Street Fighter. The only thing that hasn't shown up in a while is a Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur needs to come back in a big way. I mean, that could show at any moment during this week, but I really think that Killer Instinct 2 has to happen. We have Darkstalker 4 says Parasite Eve remake. Bro, Parasite Eve 1 was dope. It was so freaking good. I would definitely get down with that. Let's see. What do we got here? I'll read a couple more, and
does Xbox own the Sunset Overdrive IP, or does Insomniac?
No, they do not. No, they do not. They sold it back to Insomniac Games. So PlayStation. Okay. So okay, this is weird. The skinny on Sunset Overdrive is the reason why it has not released as a remake or even a remaster on PlayStation, which it should, is because Xbox owns the publishing rights, because Insomniac Games owed them a sequel. And even though they said no to the sequel, the IP is owned by Sony. The publishing rights somehow stayed behind. Xbox owns those. So if like for instance, if they were to make Sunset Overdrive 2, let's just say, and it was greenlit by Sony, which it has not been, Sony would publish for the PS5, Xbox would publish for the Xbox version. Now, could things have changed? I maybe, but that is the last I heard on it.
So it would be
Cybernots.
It'd be similar to the MLB The Show, because
Yes, MLB The Show for
MLB
Xbox is
publishes it for
published by
Xbox.
MLB. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
All right. Well, listen, gentlemen. So Stage on XS, bring back Dead or Alive. I wouldn't be surprised if that's coming back. I mean, Virtual Fire's coming back, so why not Dead or Alive? And now, with the way physics are, I'm sure that people are going to be very happy to line up to buy that game because, well, physics. I'm just
you're a fighter game 2 player, aren't you, Boom?
I'm a fighter game nut. Bro.
What did you think of the announcement yesterday? PlayStation, the Fight Stick controller.
It's going to be in my top 5 games of the week announced.
Not the games, the actual fight
the
pad
stick, yeah.
controller.
Oh, I didn't see the controller.
Yeah, they're bringing a fight pad controller.
Are they really? Is it up for pre-order yet or no?
No, they just announced it.
No pricing.
I didn't see it. Mother, father, sister, brother. So I'm buying it. I'm buying it. I'm buying the game. If there's a collector's edition, I'm buying the game. God damn it, Jim. Just see, this is what happens when you and if you know
Insider.
There he is, and no one stole it. So if the goddamn it, Jim, anyone that's a Star Trek fans, you understand where that's coming from.
But yeah, it's the full size fight pad controller.
Dude, that's right. I have in storage, and it's both of them are very rare. I have the Killer Instinct Fight Stick. It's mint. I've used it quite a bit, but it's in perfect condition. And I also have the Street Fighter 5 stick, which is the first launch of it. It's dope. But yeah, if that stick does come out, yes, I am buying it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually might buy 2. One to never open, because that thing is gonna be worth thousands at some point.
Like I say, I've got the PDP Victrix 2 control for my PlayStation.
I have
It's a modular, and it's got a fight pad module for it.
Yeah, you switch it out with a screwdriver. I actually have the PS5 version of it in black, and I have the Xbox Series X version in white.
I've got the Call of Duty, I think it's Modern Warfare 3 edition.
Nice.
For PlayStation.
Stuff.
Nice.
All right. Well, listen, gentlemen, ladies in the chat, we're going to move on to topic number 2. We're trucking along here. It's going a little bit longer than I would have expected because, again, it's just the 3 of us, but that's fine. We're here to have a fun conversation. So I'm going to go right back to Will. Will, this question is for you personally. What does Xbox? What are your personal expectations for the show? That I mean, again, not your picks, not your hopes, your dreams. We've already went over that. Do you think that Xbox has enough to keep the excitement moving to next year's show? Like, do they have? What are your expectations, and do they have enough to keep everyone excited until next year's show?
Oh, with the studios they've got plenty to supply. I mean, we've still got 4 or 5 this year, and then next year we've got the ones we know about that we don't have release things for. Plus, they've already said we've got stuff this year you don't know about, and it's all coming. Like I say, yes, PlayStation's getting a lot of them as well, but that's the way they're doing their business now. They're a software company at heart, so that's what they do. And because I'm hoping, like I said, my expectations, like I said, I want to see updates, like people were saying, State of Decay 3 and things like that, just how far along these games actually are and when we might expect to see them, even if they give like a summer 2026 thing or something like that. And of course, it'll also be interesting to see how they do it, since we know that GTA, at least as of right now, is coming in May of next year to have to. So there'll be scheduling around that as well. Well, depending on the game type.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, again, it's again great way, great answers as always, and I do think that they are going to have updates for a lot of these games that we've seen.
The mythical contraband game that's still out there somewhere.
Well, the game is not canceled. That I know for an absolute fact. It's still a thing. But again, I just think that games that they have that they're not sure about, they're just going to be put onto the back burner. And I think that goes right in line with you said about how many studios they have. See, when we were talking during the Xbox One days, they had 5 studios and they depended on third party and second party deals. That's what's happening to Sony right now, folks. Sony does not have enough in development. And if they do, it's not farther enough along to be able to show. So they have to depend on things like the China project, where they're bringing in these smaller devs to put out these games, and they're all becoming very samey. Like, I know a lot of people made fun of Sony's over-the-shoulder stuff, but now everything that comes out for Sony that's exclusive has become what? A Souls-like game. And a lot of people don't play those games, right? A lot of people don't like those games. Do they have a place? Of course they do. But do you need 10 of them? I don't think you do. So, I mean, great points all around. I'm going to then focus on Fuzzy Belvedere. Fuzzy, again, the question is simple, but your answer might not be. What do you personally think needs to be done? What are your personal expectations? And does Xbox actually reveal a further into the future roadmap? You know, again, Will brought up great points that he himself, and I think a lot of people in the chat, want to see updates to State of Decay 3, right?
Mhm.
They want to see updates to Perfect Dark. They want to see a potential update to maybe Fable. I heard a lot of people that don't want to see it. I want to see it again. That's just me. Do they have enough to say, okay, here's the update for the roadmap that we've already shown you, but wait, there's more. Here's the roadmap for 2026 and beyond, and they drop bombs. What are your thoughts, man?
I think Blade would fit that placement rather handedly, as far as like that's the title. I don't think it's 26, might be a 27 range type of title. Seeing actual gameplay, I know we had like kind of like the cinematic intro to it type of deal, but actual gameplay, which I know that there's a working model in the background at this point. Well, there's been one for a good bit of time. So seeing actual gameplay of it would be, I think that would hold people over until it releases a little bit more. But I think that's going to be like a pinnacle as far as, you know, or like a highlight for the showcase. But there's going to be 2 titles that I think will keep the excitement up until the next showcase, which Forza Horizon 6 and E-Day. Those 2 titles alone will probably do that. Give or take maybe Call of Duty, keeping some of those that are into first-person shooters. I think that will be another one that will definitely keep the excitement up. But I think as far as all of the updates, I just want to see what Contraband actually comes out to be, like knowing that Avalanche has been working on it. And they're the ones that did Mad Max, and they helped Bethesda with Rage 2. I think there's going to be some fun to be had for this racing fan. Although, like, I also like Demolition Derby, so yeah, I want to see what that whole deal comes out to be. Whether it's a heist thing or whatever the case may be, I want to see what Contraband is like. And what Will mentioned of earlier, Everwild is, I think, that game, like he said, that we might get to see before this year is over with. So they're going to put a button on it before this year wraps. But I think just showing like up-to-date, you know, gameplay, maybe a release windows for some of those titles, like your Perfect Darks, like Everwild, like Contraband. I think that's going to keep us, you know, throughout, you know, up until like the showcase of next year. But Forza Horizon 6 and E-Day, I think those 2 pretty much cap it off as far as that'll definitely, you know, carry us over until that time frame. But I think there will be some surprises. Like there's this still elusive game that's been worked on for now roughly 6 years from Bethesda or ZeniMax Online. And it's not something dealing with Fallout 76, and it's not dealing with Elder Scrolls Online. It's another title that they're working on. And
you're talking about the rumored licensed IP, or it's Starfield?
I see. I don't know if it's a licensed one. I was told from somebody in the walls that it wasn't Starfield Online. So I'm hoping it's a license thing, but things can change. From the time that they made mention that it wasn't Starfield Online, there's been a couple of years. So that could have, like, everything is fluid, so that stuff could have changed. I know we've heard some rumblings of maybe like a Mandalorian type of thing, but I whatever it is, and my gut is now leaning towards something in the Blade Runner, cyberpunk-esque kind of environment, because they have already done post-apocalyptical with Fallout. They've also done high fantasy with Elder Scrolls, and they also did space or sci-fi with Starfield. So going for something Blade Runner / cyberpunk, I think, is what Bethesda could definitely knock out of the park. So maybe we see whatever this thing is. I'm hoping that makes an appearance. But man, it's going to be an awesome showcase. We only got a couple more days. You guys are heading out there. I wish I changed my mind early on this year after some plane issues that I wasn't going to go out. Now I'm kind of kicking myself for not scheduling it anyway. But I'm definitely going to be looking forward to this showcase come Sunday. But man, oh man, it's going to be a conversation for a while after the showcase, for the fact that we're going to have all these new games leading up to the showcase next year that, or up to the developer direct for January. Yeah, they're going to definitely hit us with some doozies. But I think Everwild, Contraband, and I would love State of Decay 3 to make another appearance. Like, I played so many hours of State of Decay 2 last year, just kind of catching up on it after all those updates. Even the thing that people were saying, oh, that's cinematics. No, that's how Unreal Engine
there was
looks
gameplay
like.
in there, dude. There was freaking gameplay in there, especially when she's on top of the car with the female with the orange hat. That was actual gameplay.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Will, you said you had one more thing you wanted to add before we get everyone on out of here.
Actually, two more quick things I forgot about. Sure. I want to see what Ninja Theory is working on. They did that preview event for their people, so there's still something floating out there from them.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Again, it could be more than just Project Mara. I know that's the next thing slated for them. I have a feeling, again, you just have to read the room. I think whatever they're working on is going to be shown, because they put that tease out there that they were showing on the screen. There's a good chance that they're going to be there. Same as State of Decay. I don't think that Undead Labs posts anything if they're not confident that they're going to be there. I think you're going to, and again, we still have a couple of days to Sunday, right? Today's only Thursday. You have tomorrow, you have Saturday. So you might find some postings from Xbox Studios. If you do, like, for instance, In Exile posted about, what is it, 2 weeks ago, Fuzzy Belvedere, that we were talking about Clockwork Revolution. I have a feeling that they're going to be there and that game is going to be shown. That's one of 3 studios. I just happen to, and it could be more. I mean, obviously, there's a rumor that the Halo Studios is going to be showing, whether that be the Unreal Engine, remake, or a side project. Something is going to be shown at the showcase, and then potentially, again, the running rumor is that at the championships in October, there's going to be a big announcement there. I think it's the new multiplayer. I think this show will be the new single player, whatever that may be. So yeah, again, that's a really good one, because I do think that they did put a tease out there, and that tweet of the blank screen, or the fuzzy screen. We don't know what they were looking at. It could be Project Mara, it could be Hellblade 3, or it could be something totally different. And they are a talented studio. Remember, they made Devil May Cry, and a lot of people didn't like their version. I did. I thought it was excellent. What's your other pick, man?
It's not really a pick. We've been discussing it a pretty good bit. Is Everwild. Like I said, we've seen the teasers and stuff. It looks, I mean, right now, to me, it kind of looks like a Tears of the Kingdom Zelda type thing.
Yep.
But we still don't know what it is gameplay wise. I mean, I'll be the first to admit, when I saw the Concord teaser trailer when they first announced it, I was really interested, and then I actually found out what it was.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a game that we did learn that when they showed it back in, I think it was 2020s when they showed it, they did not know what the game was. They did not have a game loop for it. They didn't know whether or not it was a Zelda type game. They didn't know whether it was an RPG. Was it going to be a Pokemon? They Rare themselves didn't know. Well, apparently, not only have they found the game loop, they have settled in on what the game is going to be. I think that gets shown in a big way as well. But let me just catch up on the last super chat and we'll get everyone out of here. Thank you so much for everyone for hanging out for one of the last shows of the regular, Monday through Friday shows. Of course, you'll have new information. Again, watch the socials. I'll be putting out there when and how many shows I'll be doing live from Los Angeles. But let me just get to the last super chat here, and then we will get everyone out. Now, once again, thank you so much, Jacob Novick. He drops an additional, very generous $10 super chat, and he says, my theory, before the South of Midnight release, it was revealed by Cloreal or whoever that via LinkedIn that Compulsion and Rare are co-developing a game together. I think that's Banjo. I mean, Compulsion Games could make a Banjo game. I don't see why they wouldn't. Again, that's a great pick. My pick, and this is, again, comes the way of Ecstasies. He says that Toys for Bob is working on two games are going to be shown. One is probably going to be Spyro, which I don't know if it's going to be a reboot or Spyro. Did Spyro had a 4? Would this be Spyro 4 or 5? I don't know. I've lost count, to be honest with you. But a new Spyro game is probably guaranteed. I think the second game is a Banjo game, even if it's just a title screen, because they literally said right before they split with Microsoft and to become an independent studio again, that they wanted a shot at the bird and bear. That's what the head of the studio said. That to me sounds like a shot, like, hey, we're doing it. We're going for it. And I've said this for years. They would be in my opinion, top pick. Because Rare does not want to do a Banjo game, and that's fine. Let them team up and do a Conquer game. How about a new Conquer, ladies and gentlemen? Who doesn't want to talk about poo, right? Like, that's just what Conquer does. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for supporting us through your views, through your subs, through your generosity, and, of course, all the channel memberships and that are gifted as well. Mrs. Boom and I are incredibly grateful for that. We'll get everyone out of here so you can start your Thursday and get ready, folks. This weekend is going to be bombastic, and I cannot wait. Will, tell everyone where they can find you on the socials if they want to catch up, and strike up a conversation. And what else you got going on, brother?
Hopefully this weekend I'll get to finish up Expedition 33. Like I said, well, I won't 100% it, but I say it'll be done. I'm on the final boss. I can't get the timings down for my dodges and my parries yet.
Okay.
and then I'll go back to Doom and play it some more. As far as social wise, like I said, my Twitter is the same as my name here. I figured since people knew me as that here, might as well just change it to that over there too. That's it. And that's where you'll find me. I don't do YouTube or anything like that. So
okay.
That's very, very rarely. It's one of those things. My rare characters are special.
Well, listen, brother, we're happy to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. Obviously, it's always great to have people from the community who enjoy talking about games show up and, of course, enjoy talking about topics that we got into. And today was one of those open-ended conversations.
And unfortunately, I'm actually going to miss the live show one on Sunday. My daughter texted me last night, said, "Oh, I got a game Sunday at 2."
You know what, brother? Yeah, you can watch the replay. Absolutely. Well, again, I'm not going to be going live directly after the showcase because I'm going to be hanging out at the event with Hargeet and the rest of the community at the Fan Fest event later on that afternoon, probably around, I want to say maybe 5. I'm going to head back to I'll have everything ready to go. I'm probably going to, set up the show and I'll have a definitive date. It's probably going to be 5 p.m. Pacific time, which would be 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'll do a show for about an hour, maybe 90 minutes, depending on how crazy the Xbox showcase was. Like I said, folks, this is a work trip, but I'm there to have fun as well. So I'm going to try and balance both. But Fuzzy Belvedere, let's sell the brand, brother. I don't know if there is going to be a Fright Night with Ferocious Fee happening tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if there is, where can people tune in, subscribe to your YouTube channel, as well as the horror channel known as Fright Night with Ferocious Fee? So the brand, brother, where can people subscribe and follow you guys on the socials?
Well, as always, thank you for having me on. Love doing this. Just talking gaming in general, and the showcase being right around the corner. It is like gamers' Christmas Eve kind of thing right now. But so glad to be here. Will did an awesome job. Always love seeing you on Boom Show, and finally got to be on a podcast with you as well. So, but for those that want to,
I'll do the Expedition 33 thing.
But yeah, it's at this point, I put the link in the chat for my YouTube. I'm still not really focusing on it at the moment, but I put my wife's in there for Fright Night with Ferocious Fee. There will be an episode 6 p.m. tomorrow. We're going to be discussing Drop. I don't know if you recently saw it. It's a fairly recent movie, out of the theaters now, on a lot of streaming services, but pretty good thriller. It's not really a horror, but it's a good thriller movie. But yeah, just join us at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Hang out in the chat. If you saw it, give us your feedback. If you haven't saw it, we'll say spoilers before we spoil anything. But it should be a good time tomorrow. But for those that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on all social media. Just do a search for Fuzzy Belvedere and you'll be able to find me. And hey, have an awesome weekend, everybody. Play a lot of games. If you got your Switch, play those games as well. But there's so much in Game Pass right now. I am probably only about 20% in, Doom. Finished Expedition 33.
Nice.
But I want to go back to it to get some more achievements because I didn't realize you can take all of your companions up to the levels that you can. So I missed out on some stuff. So definitely enjoy gaming and take care, and see everybody on Monday.
Yeah,
for breakfast or Xbox lunch break special, 12 noon next week. See you there.
I think Expedition 33 also has some secret achievements like South of Midnight did, where beating the bosses by taking no damage.
Yeah,
which I would break
through to get those.
I would break 3 or 5 controllers attempting to do that. Last time, my worst experiences with controllers, like I've said before, I'm a rage gamer. I Damascus camoed COD Modern Warfare 2019. That's getting everything gold, platinum, and everything. But like I said, with the Riot Shield, I think I went through 3 or 4 controllers trying to do that.
Well, don't do that. Those joints are expensive now. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, have a great weekend. We'll be in touch. You'll see me on the socials. You'll see me taking pictures. You see me doing some video. I'm going to be posting a lot of clips during the Xbox event. Some behind the scenes stuff of how how that show is getting put together by the incredible, talented Ben Kenobi, Hargi Chani, and Ains from Season Gaming. There's going to be a lot of content. I'm going to be reacting to as much as I can, as well as having fun. Big thank you to all the super chats that popped in here. Mrs. Boom and I are incredibly grateful for it. And of course, we're going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And they would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the new episode of X Vlog Live.